Okay, this presentation was made halfway, no, like 2/3 of the way through Summer Split last year, which means the meta actually just changed to full clear junglers, and no one really wanted to go full clear junglers. Everyone wanted to keep playing these champions, right? The meta was like this was kind of the meta right now. And farming junglers were on the rise, like Karthus was on the rise, Nidalee was on the rise, Fiddlesticks, people were playing it in scrims. I didn't really understand why people were playing Fiddlesticks. Pantheon just fell out of the meta, and Nocturne was rising. Like, these champions were starting to become OP out of nowhere. Everyone was really unsure what the meta was. Lilia was just released. Everyone thought Lilia was dog shit. I remember playing against Xerxes in scrims on this champ and thinking, wow, this champ sucks. And it did suck, and all of a sudden it got... I don't know if it got buffed or something, but people were just underrating it. What I did for my team was I basically told them what time they'll finish their clears, right? So the full clears on these champs, this is basically the time that they were finished. So people could kind of know, like, okay, enemy team has Karthus. He's probably going to full clear by about 3 minutes in the game. He's level 4. And then these champs were level 3ers, which were just 3 camps gank. And the fastest 3 camps gank in the game is Trundle. Elise is very close here. Elise is not on this list, but Elise is also finishing her level 3 at around 2:35. And then she just dives the fucking side lane. It's really unskilled. And then the level 2 donkeys. I mean, Xin Zhao can also be a level 2 donkey. I mean, you can be a level 2 donkey on Nidalee, on Lee Sin, Pantheon, Trundle, Set, Graves, right? You can be a level 2 donkey on these champs. But the difference is between these champs and being a level 2 donkey on these champs is if you don't get a kill on these champs and you're doing level 2 donkey, then your game is over. You have lost the game. If you're running bot on fucking Trundle level 2 after doing red and you don't get a kill, the game's over. Enemy jungle's full cleared by the time you've got back to your fucking 3rd camp. Whereas these champs, if they don't get a kill, it doesn't matter if they're down a level. These champs don't really matter if you're down a level. So that's why I put these champs on the list, because I told my team, like, look guys, I guarantee you if these guys are ganking bot level 2, that we'll win the game. Unless they get a kill. If they get a kill, could be worth it, but they're going to lose their whole topside jungle, right? Everyone knows this by now. This was very new because they buffed Gromp. No, they buffed Krugs, I think it was, or Gromp. I can't remember what it was. They changed something to jungle where you could do 3 camps and get level 3. So a very common thing with the level 3ers, right? They would just do these 3 camps, or they would do blue, Gromp, red, right? That's why I have these arrows here, right? What they would do is do blue, Gromp, red, gank bot, gank top. Like, it was very common, especially in the meta, because it was... Like, the meta was all about bot prio and early jungle finding kills, because it wasn't farming jungle meta, so it was just a complete fucking battlefield out there between junglers. So this is basically what I told my team. Like, if they do blue, Gromp, red on bot side, or on top, on red side, for example, like, if you're a jungler and you're doing these 3 camps, and you're going top, and we see them start on blue, and we see them go to Gromp, it's almost impossible that they're going to gank you. It's almost impossible they're going to gank you bot for the next God knows how long. So what we said was they have 2-minute respawn timers, right? If they start bot side and they do Gromp at 2 minutes, then they're going to be around bot side, camp respawning at 4 minutes. Now it's 4 minutes 15. There's 15 seconds left. So around 4 minutes 15 seconds, jungle's bot camps will spawn. So that's when you need to be careful around bot, or like at least try to ward deep. If he does red Krugs Raptors, which is also a very common pathing right now as well. If you're trying to path bot from red side, or if you're trying to path top from blue side, it's a really common thing, right? You get level 3 from these camps, you go top side, full clear. The only difference is here, you can actually go towards mid. The opposite sides, like this can go mid, this can't go mid really. And I think you'll remember the only time I've ever seen someone get a gank off in competitive play by doing blue Gromp Wolves and ganking is Karsa in top esports versus Fnatic. He was playing Lee Sin, he did these 3 camps on red side, he ganked mid and got a kill, and I was shocked. But it happened. It's very common for junglers to gank mid with these 3 camps, but it's uncommon they'll just gank mid with these 3 camps, right? Because there's really no point in ganking mid with these 3 camps, right? Because if enemy jungle's first of all there to counter gank, you have no red buff. And if you actually lose out on the play and you lose your red buff on jungle early, it's over. So yeah, this is very likely that he can gank mid, or he can run to side. Like, jungle's unleashed after these 3 camps. It's almost the same as these 3 camps. It's just basically unleashed. But if we see him do this, then he won't make anything happen. He's going to clear to level 4. 100% if a jungler does these 3 camps, he's full clearing. There's no way that he's going to gank a lane. Level 3ers, it's very common, right? It's a top gank. It's a bot gank, or it's a mid gank, right? These are the only options they have, or it's an invade. But this doesn't apply too much anymore, because this is like Set, Trundle, you know, Trundle, Elise, Sejuani, Gragas. Any of these champs can do this, but if you're playing like Nidalee, Lilia, it's unlikely you'll do this. But I gave a big description on how I think level 3 will gank out. And if they're clearing towards top side and they go for the level 3 gank top and they don't make it work, then yeah. 99% of the time, full clear champs will go blue into full clear. Depending on champ, they will then base and go to the opposite side or contest red on the map, right? Okay, so basically what that means is if jungle starts blue gromp, just like I says, and does these 3 camps, he's full clearing. He's not ganking. The only time I've ever seen this is Karsa in top esports when he did these 3 camps and he did this, and he ganked mid and got a kill on Lee Sin. That shocked me because if this play didn't work out or enemy jungle was around here and he dies, his whole top side's gone. So that's the risk of that. Whereas if you do these 3 camps and gank mid, losing your blue buff doesn't matter as much, especially if you're playing like Rek'Sai or something. So yeah, if you do this, it's very likely jungle's full clearing, especially in the current meta, because they want their red buff to stay on for longer. The reason they do this is because red buff stays on longer, so that means you can contest more, and it's probably just faster in general anyway, right? If you do this, it's just slower. Whereas if you just do this, it's much faster. So faster clear, blue buff gives you the cooldown reduction to clear the camps out, and then you have a red buff for longer. That's why full clear from blue to top side is the most common thing when it comes to farming junglers. Yes, you can do this on Lilia and do this, you know, you have some crazy pathings, you can do those kind of things. And then the other thing that level 2 champions do a lot, for example, Lee Sin, Jarvan, Kindred, these champs, what they can do is do this, and they can run like this and take your blue, your gromp, and then bail. And then by the time you've done your 3 camps here, and you've run here, and you did your wolves, you see your 2 camps are gone, and you're mind blown. So what a very common thing to do is, about right here, that covers just around here. So you can see if they walk like this, and you can see if they walk like this. The thing is, in this meta, it was really annoying, because level 2 junglers were meta, and level 3 junglers were meta, right? So the problem you had was, you had junglers like Kindred who did this, so you would ward here, but then they would just do this. And you'd have to put 2 wards level 1. If you didn't put 2 wards level 1 and that happened, lots of junglers would run through here and sweep your ward, and then go back, and then you think your blue's going, and then you have to run through your blue to defend it, right? There was a lot of things, because the way information works in League is you can use information to your advantage, right? So if I play Jarvan, and I take red, and I EQ over this wall, and I'm sweeping, and I see your wards here, and I kill your ward, and you lose vision, I could just run to my Raptors now and start full clearing. But to you, you have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I could be on your blue, I could be on your gromp. So, you know, what happens is jungler runs here, you waste their time, or I could take your blue. And then what the enemy jungle will do is if he sees this is swept out, and he's doing his Krug, so let's say enemy jungle's doing this, and I just did this, and this is being swept, jungle has 2 options. He could fucking beeline it to top side, which is pretty shit. Or he could just split map, right? That's a split map right there. It's not a level 1 split map from a level 1 invade, but it's a split map. If I do red to here, the map's split. If he drops these camps, the map's split. That means enemy jungle does this, and now he's gonna run up here, take this. So it's a split map. Which can be really good, especially if top matchup is something like, I don't know, let's say you're playing Renekton into Gnar or something, or Jace into Kennen, I don't know. Some top matchup that can have already, can be volatile or something. And Renekton can start pushing now, because Gnar sees jungle here, and then you can just stack a wave, and you just dive him, right? You're playing Ryze mid, for example, just run up here level 3, dive top, he has to back off. But then obviously on the other side of the map, if the enemy team has like a Tahm or an Alistar, and you're playing Kai'Sa or something, I don't know, enemy jungle is Set, or Jarvan, I don't know, you can just dive bot. So there's a very risky thing when it comes to it. So lots of teams communicate, like in the old jungle metas. Yeah, I want to split map top side so we can dive top. Do you have already mid push? If you have already mid push, then we can 3-man top level 3. Do you have TP to defend bot? Can bot lane live 2v3? You know, there's all these things. So that's the thing with jungle. There's lots of information that you have to use to or against your advantage, right? So that's why full clear is the safest now. Full clear is the best jungler right now. Now that the camps are 215, it does change it up a little bit. I still think it's full clear jungle meta. I don't think we're gonna see too many changes. Like I think full clearing is too OP still right now, and because you haven't lost gold value in the camps because they buffed the gold value, yeah, it just gives full clear junglers more time. But this jungle meta was really annoying. This jungle meta was really annoying because yeah, you had these champs. You had like Graves into Olaf, right? This matchup. If Graves does red and jumps over the wall and takes your blue, then Olaf has to split the map or he has to run across the map. You know, if you're playing Jarvan into, I don't know, into Volibear, it's a fucking Fiesta level 3 for crabs. If you're playing Nidalee into Nocturne, you need to invade him a little bit. If you're playing Kindred into Graves, let's say, it's all about the battle of the cheese. Both of you can jump over the fucking walls. If you're playing Kindred into Graves, both of you can do this level 2. So it's a shitfest. Everyone has to ward level 1. And whoever jumps over the wall first initiates the split map. So a lot of things can happen and you have to talk about in that meta. Or like, you had to be reactionary, ready to deal with. How junglers work on split map. So when the map split, it's very obvious how jungle works. It depends a little bit on how the map was split though. So for example, I think you'll see a very common thing is junglers will walk in level 1 with their AD support and they'll split the map level 1. Okay, great. They win the 3v3 and they'll take this camp, okay? Now, Split map is a very weird term because split map means you're just literally giving up both sides. But I think you'll see it's very common for junglers to do this. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. Let's say I'm jungling, or we're jungling, guys. We're the junglers. We're starting red, and our AD support sees them walk in. Now I have two options, right? I could just go like this. Or, because I have red buff, it probably means I win 1v1. What happens if I just do red and run to his gromp, my gromp? I could get a free kill. You see this a lot. You see this a lot on split maps where junglers think they're safe by just taking these 3 camps on a level 1 split map. But it's also very common for people to just do red and run back into their jungle and fight you. Yes, they'll lose their blue. But if you're doing gromp and I can force you off, take it or kill you, then it's not worth for you. Or the same thing could happen where you're doing the gromp, right? The time that I wasted running from here to here and losing my blue. If you're doing my gromp and I push you away, you have to go like this. And now you're full clearing back up. The time that you waste doing this is the time that I wasted doing this. You getting my blue buff is not a big deal at the end of it, right? Because the time that you lost in doing this to get the extra camp, you lose by running all the way back to your jungle. Plus, you might get chunked out. Plus, I might get the gromp. It's a very common thing to do this. I mean, I think you'll think El Yoya did the same thing, I think. Where he was playing Volley Bear, I remember. They split the map. He was doing something like this, and a Hecarim was here, and he just killed him or something like this. I don't know what it was. You have 2 options on a split map. If they level 1 invade, you can just do red, and you can go to the enemy blue. But then your Raptors and Krugs are up. So if you're greedy, you can do this. But it's very common as well if they late invade. Let's change it up a bit here and just change the information that we have. Let's say I'm starting blue and they late invade here now. Now I don't have red buff. Now I can't run across the map and start fighting him. But my red buff respawns first, and I'll have red buff for longer if I can get his. Does that make sense? So if they level 1 invade here and take my red, first of all, my red buff will respawn faster because his red buff's still alive. And second of all, my red buff, or the red buff that I take from him, I'll have it up for longer. So it's actually sometimes good if they level 1 invade your red. It actually helps you a little bit because both your buffs spawn faster. And if your bot lane's safe, then you can take their red, have it for longer, and then you can just unsplit the map. If I just do this, run through mid. Now I can maybe catch him on my Krugs if I bot push, right? There's loads of things you can do on a split map. The most common thing that happens is this. Or this. And you base, and you trade crabs. But you also have to understand that the reason a team level 1 split maps is because, let's say I'm playing Nidalee, Braum, Jinx, okay? Pretty strong level 1, and I'm playing Morgana jungle, let's say. And they split the map level 1, he invades me, great. That's always going to happen, most likely. Braum, Tahm Kench, really good level 1 champs to invade with. Leona's pretty fine, Nautilus is really good. What Nidalee can do is do this, and now run through mid, and I'm fucked. Because if Nidalee can do this, and then run up here, take his red, Krugs, Raptors, and full clear down, I'm 2 camps down, and I'm absolutely fucked, and I only get this. So he has to be very careful about that. Because if I have no mid push, like let's say my mid laner's losing, let's say I have Victor into Lucian, and Lucian has already push, and they have a Nidalee, and they're taking my red level 1, obviously I won't have bot push, because it's a split map. And second of all, I don't have mid push. So if enemy jungle can do this, and this, the game's lost. But if you have some form of bot push, then when he runs through mid, you can run down and contest his blue with your bot push. That's one way to solve it. So you can actually trade camps. But if you have a losing mid, losing bot, and a level 1, losing level 1, and enemy jungle can do that, then this was also a really common thing where they would just do this. And this would happen a lot in the Karthus meta, when it was like Karthus versus Sejuani. I think I remember the exact same thing happened to me against Fnatic. Fnatic did this shit to me. It was really annoying. It was this game. They did this exact same thing to me right here. They walk in, they force me out, they get first blood, they take my red Raptors, he runs through mid, and now what do? I have no mid push, I have no bot push, only thing I have is top push. So what can Sejuani do here? She's fucked. All he does is just take top grab and full clear from top to bot, and I can't do anything about it. The only thing I can do is my 3 camps top, and then just dive top. That's the only thing I can do. This guy could have fucked me even harder if he was good, because he has insane mid push. He could have just ran into my blue right now. I have no flash, he has red buff, but he doesn't do it. So luckily I get out free for that. I actually get away with it. And I have top push to help me out a bit. But what he can do is just do two camps bot side, run through here and full clear down. And it just fucks you. It fucks you really hard. But the options I have are I can just do 3 camps top side and then look for a top dive. That's what I did. Just get level 3. Oh, in this meta, you didn't get level 3 off Gromp. Luckily, they inted it top. He went, I don't know what he was doing. He went for a top dive. They griefed the top dive. He forgot to clear his bot camps and my game saved. So there it is. He made a big mistake. I'm back in the game. Well, how did he do it? Well, I was going to just clear the bot and get my camps, but they dove top. They made a big misplay. And now the jungle lead is fucked because I can take his blue and bot grab. So now if you look at jungle CS, jungle CS is even. I would have been absolutely fucked if that Karthus did 2 camps into full clear bot and based. I would be out of the game. Because also, by the time he killed this Gromp, my Raptors would have been up. And he could have just taken my Raptors in my face with mid push and bot push, right? Of how junglers work on a split map. Loads of things can happen. You can get fucked in so many different ways. But that's one of them. And then how can we fuck the enemy jungle just to stop his pathings? If you have top push, the best wards for jungle are always here. Always ward here. If you have bot push, exact same thing. Always warding here is the best information you can get. Because Gromp is the respawn timers. If they start at bot side, so these are the best wards to place. Alternatively, if you have top push, the best ward to place is here. So what you'll see a lot of top laners do is they'll run like this. And they'll ward right here. And same thing for bot lane. If they have the push, they'll walk like this and they'll put a ward right here. So the reason that they do these wards is because Gromp and Krug's the most important camps for junglers. These two camps give you the most XP, so these camps are the best. So especially if I start top side and I do this,
let's go, man,
and I clear down, then this will be up first. This is my first respawn. So if early top push, ward here, and then we'll see jungle when he's based and he's top. Same thing for bot. If I start bot side, then this camp's the best. So if bot lane has the push and can ward here, it's great. Perfect. I can see enemy jungle on the respawn. We know he's full clearing back to top, right? Red ward is good, but it's not the best. Red ward just sees him go from Raptors to Krugs. Raptors ward, you'll see this very commonly, level 1, level 2. Either teams walk in level 1 and put this ward down, or the mid laner has to push early, level 2, and just runs here and places the ward. Early vision, it's always good. It's always really good to get early vision. This ward is really good, but it's very hard to get this ward early. Very difficult to get this ward early on, because then it means your support has to run all the way to here instead of to here when you can just ward over the wall, so he loses like 5 seconds. But if you're playing LeBlanc, for example, if I'm playing LeBlanc mid, what I can do level 1 is I can just go like this. W over the wall, run here, ward, and W back. So LeBlanc is a small kind of cheater where she can actually ward a camp level 1. And similarly, she can do the same thing topside, right? Where she can just kind of run over here, push them out, and then W over the wall here and just ward here. So that's the only exceptions. But these are the best wards. And then if you can't get a Raptors ward, or you can't get a Krugs ward, or you can't get this, then the best ward is this ward. This ward is really good. Lots of mid laners actually ward here, level 1. Or like level 1 here. But I think if you have the push, what we found was a lot of people were doing this ward, which basically spots jungle walking out of their entrance. This ward is really good because it's unexpected. And I think the follow-up ward to this, which is actually better, is a pink ward in this bush. Pink warding here is really, really broken as well, I think. You'll see a lot of pro teams put pink wards either here or here in the early game. These are the main pink ward spots in the early game for pro teams. This bush, and this bush. Best places for pinks because you can see jungle going through his camps. These are jungle paths, right? So every single one of these wards connects 2 camps. This one can connect these 2, or this. This one can connect this. And this one can connect this. Right? So these wards are the best for jungle early. And then I just talked about the way that they can get ganked, right? So if you have top push, it's very likely if you're against things like Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, Jarvan, they can jump over walls. Straight up river needs to be careful for, and they can come around here and up here, right? So top lane is very simple, exact same in bot. I think everyone knows jungle ganks from bot side and top side. Side lanes are very obvious. What you can do, best thing for top laners to do, something that my top laner was doing a lot, and I saw lots of top laners in the LEC were doing, is they got the top push and they just warded here. Like they just warded this part of the bush and then ran back to their lane. Now this covers like this. I said to him, dude, just start warding here. So it at least covers this, you know? That means if enemy jungle goes like this behind you, you can see it. And if he comes up river, you can see it. So this ward was really important for top. Obviously, warding Tribush is great too. But this ward here was kind of good because it covered this. Especially if you have a really hard push and you have a pink ward here. This is the best, I think. So I think the ward here covers... The ward here kind of covers both. And then if you can get a pink ward here or something, that's really good too. You lose prio. Yeah, I know. It depends on how much push you have. I think lots of top laners just like to push in the wave, run here, ward. But this ward doesn't do anything. First of all, if he comes from here, you're dead anyway. Because by the time he's here, you're probably here. And you're just dead. And second of all, if he runs up river and he's here, and you're here, you're already dead. So this ward doesn't actually save you. It's fake information. This ward never saves you. Especially if you're contesting the push. So hug your jungler side. If you're mid lane, right? And you're getting ganked from this many angles. Standing in the middle of the lane, you can get ganked from every single one of these angles. If you have them in the middle of the lane. If you can get ganked from every single one of these angles, right? So what's the best thing to do? Well, if I'm doing top crab, just stand fucking here. Right? We probably have a ward here already because that's what junglers do. What's the point in standing in the middle of the lane? You've already saved yourself. You've already covered yourself off of this many ganks. Or gank opportunities, right? If you just stand towards the top side of your jungle. Because if he runs like this, first of all, he can't collapse on you. And second of all, I'll just run down and help you. So these are impossible ganks if jungle hugs the right side of mid. Alternatively, if I'm bot side, right? Just hug this side of the map. Same thing for mid. And communicating lane state's important, right? If my top laner has the top push and the waves on a tower and he's backed off into fog, my mid laner has the mid push and he's backed off into fog, and we know enemy jungle's top side, Then, if I know that mid and top have the push, it's very unlikely that enemy jungle has based. What's the point in enemy jungle being here? There's no point. If he's full cleared from here to here, and I have top push and mid push, then what's the point in him being here? He's just going to base. There's nothing he's going to do. So we can predict the enemy jungle's thought process by having our pushing lanes. Because we can say, well, I took a bad trade top, and he's stacking a wave. Okay, enemy jungle's patting top. Okay, well, 2 and 2 together, you're going to get fucking dove. Very obvious, right? Similarly, if my mid laner is fucking hard chunked under tower and enemy jungle's patting top, yeah, he got a good trade. I'm actually really low. Well, it's obvious then. He's going to dive you from top side. So based on your lane states and based on what the enemy jungle should do, you can predict what he will do, right? So if we have no vision here, level 4, and my mid laner takes a terrible trade, and he's standing here, then hug here, right? Or at least base or do something about it, right? Because we know that he will do it. Isn't hugging aside a tell for enemy team? Yeah, but the enemy team will know where your jungler is. If I'm doing top crab, it's pretty obvious enemy jungle's on bot crab. You can read the game like that. So for example, if my top laner takes a bad trade level 2, let's say he's playing Gnar into Jace and he gets hard chunked, and enemy jungle's patting top with Udyr, and he's stacking a wave top, well, we can put our information together and say he's obviously diving top, so back off, right? And we have information on jungle without having information on jungle, right? So then I think these are the, if you're a pro team, these are the 4 things you have to think about. Do I need a push out because I took a bad trade or I can't crash this wave? Do I need a counter gank because I think enemy jungle is going to stack, they're stacking wave top and I think he's going to gank me or dive me or anything like this. We need a counter gank, so you need you to be there so we can 2v2. Gank, simple gank. We need you to come bot to blow their flashes. Otherwise we can't lane. Like they can step up way too far and hit our tower for no reason. They're playing like Senna Karma and they're hitting my tower in my face. How is that allowed? Gank them. Get their flashes. Now they can't play up. And then dive, obviously. We get a good trade on bot, top, mid, go dive. So yeah, that's one of the PowerPoint presentations I did for my team a while back.